So hello and welcome back to Hal Tech TV. Today we have the Noctua NF-A15 PWM fan, and this is the video review. If you want to go check out the unboxing or written review or anything like that, the links are down below. You will obviously get a lot more information on the written review. This is going to be a very straight to the point video to do with this product, so let's go in and take a look at this fan and see what features it has and how good it is. So starting off with the design, we have the accessories. So it comes with a Y cable, with it being 4 heat sinks, so you can mount 2 using the same CPU 4-pin connection on the motherboard. It also comes with a 30cm extension cable, a low noise adapter, 4 fan screws, and 4 of these anti-vibration mounts, which are annoying because they bounce everywhere and get lost, so take care when you're using them. It also comes with a 20cm already attached sleeved cable. All this sleeving is super high quality and you won't see any cables through them, and it's very kind of rubbery. So overall the accessories, the cabling is extremely high quality, especially on this fan, which I've noticed compared to other previous Noctua fans. The actual sleeving, so you've got the heat shrink, rather than the sleeving itself, the heat shrink actually goes all the way into right next to the motor itself, rather than only stopping here. So I've noticed that the sleeving on this for some reason seems to be a lot better than what we've seen on previous Noctua products. So let's move on to the features of the fan itself. Okay, so starting from the outside, we have the same features that we saw on the NF-A15. So it's a 140mm fan with 120mm mounting holes, so you can mount this on a 120mm cooler or using 120mm mounting hardware and still get a 14cm 140mm fan. Now, something that we haven't seen on the previous fans that we have seen on this is the anti-vibration mounts on the 140mm fans. Now what this does is it actually makes the fan a little bit longer, so it's 15cm or 150mm this way and 14cm across this way. Now personally I like the fact that they've introduced the anti-vibration mounts onto the 140mm fan. However, I don't like the look of it. I think it almost looks like they've kind of not put too much effort into it and just added it on as an ended piece, just kind of let it fit in with the rest of the themes of the A series. So personally, I'm not a big fan of the actual look. Performance, it might help. Performance, it might stop vibration travelling through to the heatsink or the case or wherever you mount it. However, looks-wise, I think it makes it look quite horrible, if I'm honest. So moving in from that, we have the rest of what is referred to as the AAO frame. So we have the anti-vibration mounts, as I've already mentioned, then the stepped inlet design, and around the inside of the rest of the chassis we have the inner surface microstructures, which are little bumps, little indents in the side to create a kind of buffer with the air. So that's what's referred to as the AAO frame. If you want to know what each particular feature does, head over to the written review as we talk about that on there. Now, something that we've seen on here that we've only seen on the A series, which has just been released, is the flow acceleration channels, and those are these kind of arrow-shaped channels on the ends of the blades. Now, personally, you know, with the blades being kind of rounded, I don't like rounded fans. I kind of like it to look a little bit more sharp. I think these are very complementary to the look of the fan, and kind of maybe bring back what, in terms of looks, what you lost with the anti-vibration mounts. So moving over to the back, we have the SSO2 bearing system here, and with the fan being big enough, it also does feature the brass bearing shell. Now, personally, I think the SSO2 bearing system is the best on the market. I don't think that it's been beaten, and it is obviously designed and made by Noctua, so you won't see it on any competitive fans, making, you know, essentially Noctua fans better than the others, and it's making it so that the competitors can't keep up in terms of outright performance and longevity and all of that. So Let's move on to the performance testing. If you want, things like the actual specifications, go check out the written review. It's all in a list. It would take too long to say it, and people might get a little bit annoyed by me saying a list that they could just read. So if you go check out the written review for all of that, and we can move on to the performance testing right now. I think I'm actually dying. Okay, so onto the performance section of this fan. Now, just like the NF-A15, this fan performs extremely well, and it runs really quiet as well. But with it being a PWM fan, it runs even quieter than the A14. Not as quiet as the ultra low noise, but quieter than the Flex at least. So this fan is essentially, it's really good for on heat sinks. And I would still recommend using the low noise adapter on this, which is an RPM limiter with it being PWM, just so you are getting it down to kind of ultra low noise levels and essentially becoming a silent fan. Now, you don't really need anything more than the performance with the ultra low noise adapter on, unless you're benchmarking obviously, because the fan does push a ton of air, and with it being capable of being mounted in a 120mm section, having the extra airflow of it being a 140mm fan does give you that added boost, which means that you can put the ultra low noise adapter on and still see a better performance with a 120mm fan. So that is the performance section of this fan, and let's move on to the conclusion, which is really a joint bundle of the design and the performance all put together in one, and then obviously my final thoughts. So yeah, let's move on to my conclusion right now. Okay, so my conclusion on this particular fan. Now, I do like the performance. I think it performs extremely well, but really the design it just doesn't look nice to me for, an Noctua fan. It's either the shape or just the overall integration of the features. I don't think that it was all integrated as well as it could have been in terms of the looks aspect. While it does have the features of, having 120mm mounting, while being a 140mm fan, I do still think that it is extremely limited now to what you can actually do with it, with the addition of the extra side sections where you have the anti-vibration mounts. Because with these, what these are going to do is these are going to limit what you can actually do with the fan, so you can't put them like next to each other in kind of a 140mm dual radiator. If you were to have them like that, you'd kind of have to have them like that, and as case fans I don't really see them working, so they are essentially limited to being a heatsink fan. And what that means is, for the price of them, which is essentially the same as the 140mm NF-A14s, you're paying the same amount for something that might be slightly more optimized for heatsinks than the A14, but it's a lot more limited, and I think the limiting factor kind of reduces its value more than the fact that it's optimized. I don't think that it's optimized enough for it to be kind of, worth it. So yeah, that is my conclusion on this particular fan. It has still received a very high rating from us because of the fact that in terms of performance, and in terms of the fact that it is still silent and it still has those designs, and it is slightly optimized. It has still received quite high ratings, however not as much as the A14. So if you want to check out the rest of the review, head over to the written review, which is linked down below. This was obviously a very brief review on the fan, and if you want to go into a little more detail, you might as well check that out. But yeah, it's time for me to say goodbye right now. So this has been the video review of the Noctua NF-A15. If you want to check out the unboxing or written review, there's links down below for them too. If you want to contact us for anything regarding any sort of questions, enquiries, or if you want to contact us to request us to review a product, and that is for public or company use. If you are part of the general public and you do want us to review a certain product, use that email as well. Or if you just want to contact us for general business, use the emails down below, and please try and use the right one. I hate getting them through the wrong email address. And while you're doing all of that, you might as well go over to the website and bookmark it while you're there. and head over to the Facebook page and give that a like, as well as the Hal Thompson Facebook page, because I do a lot of behind the scenes kind of what's coming up stuff on those pages, so check them out. But other than that, I'm Hal Thompson. This has been another Hal Tech TV video. Don't forget to subscribe, and goodbye.